takes a community. So, as I was saying, September is back to basics. And today I thought I would start with the first chapter in the textbook. The Thing Itself is the name of it. And you will hear over the years this Science of Mind teaching really goes back earlier than just Ernest Holmes, who wrote the textbook in the Science of Mind teaching. It goes earlier than that into many centuries, actually, and yet we've dubbed this whole movement as the New Thought movement. We've added ancient wisdom to that here recently as well. But I wanted to give you the definition of New Thought as far as the Wikipedia definition goes. The New Thought movement is a spiritual movement, sometimes classified as a Christian denomination, which developed in the U.S. in the 19th century following the teachings of Phineas Quimby. The three major organizations within New Thought are Religious Science, Unity, and Church of Divine Science, with an estimated number of some 1,500,000 adherents in the U.S. between them. And so it talks about the fact that we have these pioneers of New Thought, and Quimby was besides Quimby, the British judge Thomas Troward. And Thomas Troward was very influential on Ernest Holmes. And it was highly recommended back in the beginning of the AA movement that people read Troward as well. So other people came on board the transcendental meditation, transcendentalist. There you go. And with writers such as William James, Ralph Waldo Emerson. And this teaching, it came from all different walks of life. And so it's a movement, so to speak, and a conglomeration. So Ernest Holmes was highly influenced by all of these people. And so he decided to just speak and teach, and he got quite a following. He wrote the textbook that we talk about here, originally in 1927, and mine is so worn it has a cover on it now to keep it in a safe place. But then it was revised in 1938, and that's the one that I really have been using in my teachings. It's got underlines all over the place in it. But as you look at the first chapter, is talking about the thing itself. And as I quoted in the Thought for the Week, it says, the study of the science of mind is a study in first cause, spirit, mind, or that invisible essence, that ultimate stuff, the intelligence from which everything comes, the power back of creation, the thing itself. And, you know, when I hear that, the thing itself, it sounds a little not real warm and fuzzy, does it? But there again, take it into consideration. This is Ernest Holmes, very much the masculine intellectual influence. He, again, talks about love quite a bit in his teachings. But this mind business, this intellectual business, it seemed, I think, to predicate most of his teachings originally. And so the thing itself is just literally another word for God. And a lot of people have had some issues, some hang-ups with the word God. And so the thing itself, this stuff, again, very generic. It's not anything that is a warm and fuzzy thing. So what is this thing itself? What is this stuff? Do we have any clue? Anybody in this room know what the thing itself is, the stuff is? Anybody can give me an idea of how to express, how to name and claim what this stuff might be? Joy. Okay. Joy. Love. Peace. Expression. All-knowing.
Energy.
Energy.
Oneness.
Oneness.
Giving.
Giving.
Caring.
Caring.
Creating.
Creating. Warm. Forgiveness. Sacred.
Accepting.
Oh, that's oh, you're gonna make me start singing now. That's those are all words, those are all descriptions, characters of this thing that isn't on here that I think is probably the whole grasp of the whole thing, not the whole grasp of it. It's infinite. It's infinite in its nature. So we can pick and choose all of these characteristics that we describe it with. But truly, ultimately, it's infinite. Meaning there is no beginning, no end. The Alpha and the Omega. It's all this and more, right? And now those are those qualities of this stuff that truly, to me, is life. Life. And we can call it God just as surely as we can call it anything else. But it is life, and it is giving, creating, all the time. And the oneness that is there, it's everything. Everything. And yet, never duplicating itself. Out of that oneness comes everything. And knowing that, to me, that gives us so much peace. To know that there is nowhere we can go where there is not this life force energy breathing us, giving us this life. Is that a comfort? Does that feel good? Yeah, I think that's what life is supposed to be. I think life is supposed to be good, and that we are to be here to experience it in our own way. And so it was interesting. I love these things, how life gives you. I have a friend that called them a coinky-dink. They're not coinky-dinks. They're just, life is your energy is, awareness is, bringing to you what you can see and are attracting. So the other morning I was working on the ideas for this topic. And I picked up the Daily Word, as I usually pick up the Daily Word and the Science of Mind each morning and read their messages. And that morning, the Daily Word said, "Even if conditions around me seemingly crumble into chaos or soar with excitement, I remain focused on the wisdom, love, and peace of spirit. Faith is my foundation for living. Rather than be influenced by outer conditions, I quietly affirm, I am wisdom. I am love. I am peace. This foundation of belief is deeper than acting wise or loving or peaceful in a moment. I am the very thing itself in my essence, and I align with this truth. I am the very thing itself. The very thing itself is I am. Not acting like, not being close to or playing with or wanting to be. There is no question about it. This is what I am. I get to express it in lots of different ways, but the truth is that I am the thing itself. Is that blasphemy? Some people would say that. There is no separation. There is no God and. There is no you and. There is no me and. There is this oneness. And every single time when we entertain the idea of separation, then what happens, and it's as natural as night and day, what happens is that we become and we experience this thing called fear. We become afraid because we think that we have lost our ground, our centering, our core. Every single time when we go into separation, letting go of knowing that God is all, no matter what the chaos might look like, God is in there. Good is in there. Love, joy, peace, all of this, life, energy, abundance, prosperity. Get those words up there. That's what we are. And when we recognize that, you can't help but have a smile on your face. You just can't help it. That's the way it is. John 4, verse 24, said God is spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. And in 1 John chapter 4, verse 16, God is love, and he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. And verse 18, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. So what's the key? If we find ourselves moving off center just a little bit, and we find ourselves in that fear, we find ourselves in that questioning, in that separation, losing the joy, losing the peace, what do we have to do to get back to it? Remember, I'm love. I am love. And love is all-encompassing. Love is giving. Love is accepting. Love is just being. We know what love is like. Look at a puppy. You know? A baby. Well, when they're not screaming their heads out, no. Oh, yeah. You know, that's the thing, though, that they have this ability to live in the moment. Totally live in the moment. And what a gift that is for us to remember, to remember, to remember. The way to remember is to go back and recognize that Jesus said, I stand at the door and knock. But we are the ones that have to go to the door and answer it. So time and time again, when we find ourselves caught up in the conditions of life, and they happen, they just happen. Did you guys know that our toilets overflowed last Sunday night?
I did.
We now have the emergency number for the landlord posted on the door back here. But you know, life happens. Stuff happens. And we need to remember, really, in those times, to stay centered, to go back to what can I do right here and right now that will give me the best opportunity to move forward. Run. Or swim. Oh my gosh. And so we have these little clues in our teaching, this little things that we do called reminders. We call them affirmations. You know, just things that you can just, if you have them in your tool belt, and then you can just bring it out and just quite easily affirm, you know, the truth of whatever it is that might be looking you in the face. You know, that only God is here. I just love my life. It's great. Or whatever one is now appealing to you. I play with all sorts of different ones, you know that. And so, but remember to take them out of your tool belt and use them in those times of fear, of those times of thinking of separation, and do that. Our teaching has a planned, what's the word? Is that the right word? Formula for prayer. We call it treatment. And it's kind of an interesting word. I had never really resonated with it too much, to be perfectly honest. But in any event, what we look at in this is a formula. And it's a step-by-step way to allow ourselves to pray. Prayer, I think generally speaking, is that when you pray, you talk to God. You're voicing, you're communicating outward whatever your desires are, whatever your questions are, whatever your goals are. And the meditation, is that time when you're quiet and you're receptive and you're, just bringing in whatever it is that gift is, that Spirit is giving us. But so prayer, I do like Science of Mind, this formula for prayer that we have called treatment. Because it helps organize, at least for me, organize my mind. And so this is, again, a reminder, a basic reminder of all of you, hopefully, know what the steps are, right, in our treatment, prayer work. There's 5 of them. I'm going to give you a clue. So what would be the first step? Anybody here want to say? Recognizing God. Recognition. And recognizing that there is only God. One. Only one. Only one. And based on your own take on it, you can say God, you can say love, you can say peace, you can say joy, you can say energy, life, whatever it is. That is just knowing. There's only one. There are not 2. How many of you believe there are 2 powers? I see these eyes go up. Lots of people believe there are 2 powers. Lots of people believe there are 2 powers, right? Lots of people fear that second power big time. We do not teach that. We do not believe in 2 powers. How could it be divided against itself? I heard that somewhere. It can't. It's indivisible. This is one. Okay, so we just get ourselves wrapped around that idea, which is a real tough one, obviously. Because you know why? Because it's infinite. Right? But we just know that there is one. So what's that second step then? Unification. Meaning what?
Uniting with the fact that there's only one.
That's right. So if God is, I am, right? So this is me. I am whatever all those qualities are that we reviewed. And there's only one, then I am that. I am that in my complete being. Though am I all of God in my expression. There's a little nuance here. There's a tiny little nuance. Because the God is infinite, and I am a point of expression. this being that I decided to come into this body form and play with, is a point of expression. And all of the whole of God is in me. I can't have one little piece missing. That is me. But there is something beyond what my finite understanding can conceive of today, here, and now. 'Cause I honestly, I don't know about you, but I can't really conceive of how all of this stuff is happening at one time in orchestration and in such a perfect, beautiful way. You know, I don't think one of my friends says, and I don't need to worry my silly little head about it either, do I? My pretty little head about it. That's not my job. But what my job is to know that all of these wonderful qualities really, truly are me. And nothing outside of that. No question about it. So what is our third step in our prayer work? So I heard a little clue there. It starts with an R. So somebody have the, there's like a little acronym.
Are you ready?
Are you, right? Well, it's spelled A-R-E, but we know it's R. You. Ready. But let's go ahead and say, well, what is realization? Ready? What does that mean, ready realization?
That it's already here.
What is?
What you're asking.
Yeah, there you go. This is the part where
it's already coming in perfect order, and you're going to get that or something better.
Yeah, it's what it is that this is what you want to attract in your life, right? Your realization of, okay, God, I'm here. What do I want? What do I want to experience? Okay? So we have all the things, you know, we have the health, right?
Is this the meat in the equation?
This is the meat in the equation. This is the middle. This is like, okay, now that I've centered everything and I know that I'm one with it, now I get to speak my word. I get to say, I have dominion. We were born with dominion, with this power. Well, what is it that I want? How do I want to experience this love and this joy and this peace? In what way specifically? And yes, this or something better, right? So this is what our health, our abundance, prosperity, on and on and on. So that's what I want to have in my experience now. And it is happening now, right? It is happening now where? Here. Is there any other place? In the mind of God. In the mind, in the spirit. Those who what did Jesus say? God is spirit. They who worship him must worship him in spirit. So it is in spirit, it's in the now. And we have this third dimension, that we're in. We're talking about the fourth dimension in spirit. Third dimension, though, takes a little bit of time sometimes to compress itself, and show up in the physical form. Though there is no time, truly, it's all one moment. Okay. Number 4. Are you ready to, and that is Thanksgiving. We're happy. We're saying yes. Thank you, turkey. We're saying, yeah, it's here now. Thank you, God. We're grateful. Relief. Are you ready to receive? A little acronym. But we release it. We let it go. Knowing it is so. And so it is. That is the treatment. 5 steps. 5 steps that center us. Get our minds organized so that we are able to draw to us the energy that is all around us, waiting to give us what it is we want. And I think it's very, very important to add that, this or something greater, this or something more than what my finite mind has the idea to gumption up right at this moment, that I can even fathom or imagine. There's something that might be even greater and grander for me. And so I accept that. I accept it now. And as we accept it, there's that thanksgiving, saying, yay, thank you. How great is this? So let me see, how much time do I have? Okay, we got time. I'm going to go into another element of our basics. Big circle. Gee, what do you think this is going to be? Pie. Pie? That's not how you cut a pie. Anybody have a clue of? Oh. Our stained glass. Yeah. This is the science of mind teaching symbol. And so many people, they come in and they see it, our stained glass on the door as you come in. And I've had more than one person ask me, what does all that mean? Yeah, are you worshiping some sort of a V here? And I'm going to take another one of these pins. You'll notice that looks like there are 3 sections here. And the first section would be labeled what? Spirit. I see. First cause. The thing itself. Energy, why? That's at the top for a reason. It all begins there, right? Infinite intelligence. Mm-hmm. I was going to say mind. Here again. What would this section be in the middle? Creative medium.
Is that like the pudding?
Pudding. Dirt. Law. Soil. Soul is what Ernest called it. This is the subconscious. This is the part that takes whatever mind gives it, and like the soil, the soil takes the seed and produces it. And so this, for us, is very important because this is our subconscious. Our awareness, our consciousness we are aware of, but our subconscious, our soul, what's underneath that dirt, we can't see it. What is in that dirt anyway? Let's dig it up and find out. This is the creative medium, though. This is what creates. Very, very important. We talk about this all the time, that we should be, hopefully, aware of what's going on in this arena for us. Sometimes we aren't aware of what's going on in the subconscious. We think we're planting these wonderful seeds of love and joy and peace. And somehow or another, then they go, this starts up here, that's what the line's about. It comes down through this subconscious, the creative energy, right? And what does it end up then as? The physical form, right? We call it the effect, the manifestation. Form. In other words, our experience, our life experience. And so when we look down on here, if we're happy that we planted this rose and it came up a rose and yay, then we look at this and we say, oh, good. This part going back up, what's that all about? We don't know? Unconditional? This is what's happening as it's coming down. We're doing it. This, we're reflecting. We're figuring out, oh, gee, when I thought I planted a tomato, but why did this weed come up? We have the ability then to go back up through the process and find out, what was my stinking thinking? How did I somehow or other create in this subconscious medium that effect, that form? And so this is our, Aaron, help me out here. Inductive, deductive, it's that reasoning thing. I always get them mixed up. But it's being able to reflect back, to know what is it that how did I get this? I think I'm pretty, isn't it right? Am I doing this right?
So the other end is the bouquet that you produce.
The
Beautiful
bouquet.
results.
That's beautiful results. That's right. So that's what our teaching symbol is all about. And this part is the law, moves in conjunction, love and love obviously live here. Love and law work together. And that's why Ernest says that we need to be aware of these two together in order to have a kind of life that we want to have to live. Oh, I've been walking away from the microphone, haven't I? Oh, well, I wonder how this is going to be. Okay. It is what it is. That's been one of my mantras. So I wanted to share with you on page 35 of the textbook. Actually, this is on the beginning of the second chapter, so come back next week and we're going to find out more. Because this one is the way it works. But he says here, we have discussed the nature of the thing itself as universal energy, mind, intelligence, spirit, finding conscious and individualized centers of expression through us. And that man's intelligence is this universal mind, functioning at the level of man's concept of it. This is the essence of our whole teaching. There you go. That's the beginning, really. I mean, it says the essence of it, but there's a lot more to it than that. I wanted to close with one of my Rumi poems entitled Attributes. One attribute of God is that he sees every atom's movement, and of these our lives are made, and all the worlds revolve. We call him knowing because he can solve what are to us dilemmas, but to him are a millionth part of his creative whim. These are no simple names that men invent, that they have not come about by accident, but are the qualities of that first cause that gave us life and disciplines and laws. And so it is. Namaste.